Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. So today we'll be drafting a trouser, a pant trouser actually. So we'll be learning how to make the pattern drafting for trousers. For those who have watched my video on how to make or sew a trouser without drafting on paper first, I already told you guys that I'll be doing the pattern drafting also for trousers. So this is the class now. Let's get right into it. So I've ruled the line here, and on this side, this line at the upper part will serve as my waistline, where I'll be starting from. And this line here by the side is just for me to have space for here in case I want to take my allowance. So that's that. So the first measurement I'll be taking from my waist, remember this is my waistline. So I'll be taking waist from my waistward to my hip. And the standard waist to hip measurement is 8 inches. But for someone who is tall, it could be 9. But most importantly, you can just take measurements of your clients to know what their waist to hip measurement is. So I'll be using 8 inches for my waist to hip. Okay, so the next measurement I'll be taking now, still going back to my waistline, will be my waist to crotch length. So for the crotch length, I have a video, and this is also a picture of how to actually take your crotch length measurements. If you want an explanatory video, you can check my video on trouser measurements. So now I'll take my waist to my crotch length. So next is the next measurement I'll be placing now is the measurement for my upper thigh, where I'll be placing my thigh measurement on. So I'll be measuring 3 inches from my crotch length now. 3 inches from there down. 3 inches. So this will be my thigh line. So after that, I'll be taking my waist. You can see I've gone back to my waist to my knee measurement. It's a long trouser, so I have to take my knee measurement. So after my waist to knee, I'll be taking waist, going back to my waist again, for to full length of my trouser now. My trouser length is 38. So next now, I'll be placing my hip measurements on my hip line. Remember, this is my hip line. This is my hip line. This is my crotch line. And this is my thigh line. Here. So on my hip line, I'll be placing my hip measurement divided by 4. That's 9 inches. Also on my waistline, I'll be measuring the hip measurement I placed here, which is 9 inches. I've also placed it here to get a straight line from here to here. So now I'll take my waist measurement. My waist measurement divided by 4. I'll be placing it. So I'll be starting from here, from this line, to place my waist measurement. So my waist measurement divided by 4, 7, plus 1 inch for my dart. I'll be taking my dart. I'll take my dart later, but for now, I'm adding the allowance for my dart. So that's 1 inch. So this is it. Then I'll be connecting this line to my hip line here. So I want to extend this straight line to my crotch line. So that I'll also be measuring 9 inches. So now for my crotch measurement now, this place, that's on my hip now, I have 9 inches. So I'll be dividing this 9 inches here by 4. So you can just fold your tape. If you don't have your calculator nearby, into 4. Like I'm doing. So I have 2.25. So that 2.25 I got, I'll be adding it to this line, from this line here to this place. 2.25. So give me my crotch curve. So now I'll draw my curve. So in drawing your curve, ensure your curve does not go in too deep. Your curve should not go in too deep. Okay. So now I'll get the midpoint from here to here. So I have to measure what I have here first, and I'll get what the midpoint. I have 11.25. So the midpoint for 11.25 I have 5 points, not up to 5.75. So I'll be using my tape where my tape midpoint is 25. So this is my midpoint. So this midpoint, I'll measure what I have from here to here, down to this place, up here also. So that I can get what? A straight line, which is the center line. So this line is my center line, and I'll also be placing what my dart here. So I'll be measuring what? 5 inches for my dart. 5 inches. I'll take ½ inch on both sides. Up here and up here. So on this side, I'll be raising this side up by 0.5 inch. This is to help give my trouser a good fit. So raise it by 0.5 inch. And I'll be connecting to this first dart leg. So now, here, which is my tie line, I'll be placing my upper thigh measurement divided by 2. So my upper thigh measurement divided by 2, that is what? 10.5. So I'll be dividing that 10.5 into 2 also. 10.5 into 2, that's 5.25. So my 5.25 will be on the center line. That means I'm spreading it equally on both sides. On this side and on this side, it has to be equal. So 10.5. So like that. So for my knee measurement also, my round knee measurement divided by 2. So what I get divided by 2, I'll also divide that by 2, and I'll place the midpoint here. My round knee measurement is 14.5 divided by 2, that's 7.25. So 7.25, I'll get the midpoint for 7.25, which is what I'll be placing in this midline. This is what I'll be placing in this midline. Okay. So here now, at the hem of my clothes, I'll be using my ankle measurement now. My round ankle measurement divided by 2. So after divided by 2, I'll get the midpoint and also what? Place it here. So you can see I indicated all this. So I'll be connecting all those lines I was indicated now. Sorry about this, my marker. So this is our trouser now. So now I'm going to go ahead and trace this on a new paper. That paper will be for my back pattern. I'm not yet through with my front, but I have to trace what I have here now first on a new paper. So this is my front pattern. This is another paper. So you can see I drew a line. I left 4 inches up here for my back pattern. Yeah, so I'll be starting my tracing. I have to align this, my waistline, with this line. So then I'll trace it out. So I'll trace this to appear on this. I'll be using what my tracing wheel. You can use pin to hold it down. We are not sure if your paper is stable. So I'm tracing everything I have here out. I'll be tracing everything out. So I'm through with that. So now I'm through with tracing. Now I also had allowance to my trouser. I'll be adding ½ inch on all the sides. ½ inch on all sides. So I've added 0.5 inch allowance to all my sides. I've not added allowance to my hem. I'll be showing you how I'll be doing that. So for your trousers, your zip can be by the side or by the front or at the back. So if you are doing your zip by the side or at the back, you don't need a zipper fly. But if you are doing it at the front, you need what? A zipper fly. So for your zipper fly, you will extend from this inner line here now, not this allowance now, inner line here. I'll be measuring 2 inches. So I'll rule a straight line from here, but when I'm about to reach this my hip line, I'll make a curve. It won't be straight down, so I'll make a curve here. So let me rule a straight line till I get here. So this is my zipper fly, but if you are not putting your zipper at the front, you do not need this. So now I want us to do on my pockets for my trouser. Yeah. So now for my pockets, I'll be measuring this inner line now. These are my allowance line. So my main line now, I'll be measuring 2 inches. You can actually make your pockets, this upper part, it could be 1 1/2, it could be 2 with, depending on how wide you want it. But I'll be using what? 2 inches. Yeah. So I'm measuring from this place to this place, 2 inches. So for the wideness of the opening, I'm measuring 6 inches. I'm still working on my inner line for my waistline. So this is my new waistline now. We've created a curve, not this line here. So I'm measuring from here, measuring 6 inches. So I'll be connecting this line. So it depends on any shape you want. I know you've seen trousers of different shapes and all that. It could be straight, it could be curved. Depends on the shape you prefer. Okay. So now I'll be measuring my allowance for my pocket. I'll be using what? 0.5. So now this is my pocket opening. I'll cut out my pattern now. So before cutting out, let me show you how I'll be cutting my hem out. So for my hem, now, I'll be measuring what? 2 inches down. That'll be my allowance for my hem. I'm cutting at the 2 inch now. The reason why I'm doing this is because you can see that this place is not straight. It's not straight. So if I draw my allowance straight, it would give me shortage when I want to sew my hem. So I'll be folding this line now. This first line. Remember, this is my allowance. I'll be folding it in. I folded it in. So now I'll cut out my trouser. So this is my front pattern. So you can see this place. You can see that it is not straight the way I cut it. So assuming I actually just ruled straight line, would have shortage of fabric when you are sewing. For instance, now see I folded this so it to be straight. So when you are sewing, your fabric might not be enough when you are sewing. So that's why you have to cut like this. So you have enough fabric at that down part when you want to sew the hem of your trouser. So this is all for our front pattern. So assuming your zip was not, you are not going to put your zip at the front, you did not need this zip flyer. You have to cut, you cut just from here, cut away. And also you can also fold it in like this for later use if you want to. So that's that for our front pattern. So now let's trace out, let's do our pocket. So now I have two paper now. So this one will serve as my pocket facing, and one will serve as my pocket. Yeah, so this will be the facing and the pocket. So I'll be placing them underneath and tracing out. But before I trace out, I want to shape out what my pocket will actually look like on this place. I won't be cutting part on this place. I just want to trace it out. The shape I want my pocket to actually form. I'll be measuring 4 inches downwards. So this is where my pocket will be stopping on the 4 inch. For how wide my pocket will be, I'll be measuring 5 inch. So this is it. So I'll be ruling or shaping out my pocket now, how I want it to be. So I'm just using freehand. Please ignore this, please. So this is what I'll be tracing out on my paper. So I've traced that out. I'm removing one of the paper now, which is my pocket. So now I'll be tracing this opening now. This opening now, I'll be tracing it what? On my pocket facing. So I'll be tracing this allowance area. Now, this allowance area. So now I can cut out this place out on my shoulder. So I'm cutting from the allowance now. Please note. So this is my pocket facing. So you know you sew like this and then turn it in. So this is my pocket facing, which will be here. Yes. So this is it. So you have what? Your pockets like this. So that's that for my front pattern. So let's get right into what? The back pattern. So you keep this, cut your pocket facing, and this is for your front pattern. So this is my back pattern. Remember I traced using my tracing wheel, so I've draw it out. I used my pencil to actually draw out my front pattern. So I'll measure what I have here from this line to this place. That's what? 2.25. Please note 2.25. So this line and this line, I'll get the midpoint, which is what? 1.75. This is the midpoint. Remember what I measured here is what? 2.25. So I'll be placing it here. 2.25. So this is it. Yeah. So on my crotch line now, this is my hip line. This is my crotch line. This is my thigh line. So on my crotch line now, I'll be measuring what? I'll be adding 2 inches to my crotch. This is 2 inches. So from these 2 inches, I'll come down by 0.5. 0.5. So I'll be connecting this to this. Please note this to this line. Now I'm connecting it. So I don't want it to be too deep also. So I'm measuring 2 inch. So now I want to draw what? My new waistline for my back. So I have to measure what I have here, between here and here. So I have 8 inches. So I'll be extending this line by 8 inches. But you don't have to come up. This is my waistline, but I have to come up here by 0.5, just like my front pattern. So this is where my 8 inches is. Let me measure 0.5. Okay, so I have 0.5 here. So I'll be connecting from here to here. This is my 8 inches. 8 inches. So on my sides now, I'll be adding what? 1 inch. I'm adding 1 inch to everything down to my knee and to my ankle length. So also here I'll be adding what? 1 inch. Oh, I didn't know that place was not showing. So what I did, I measured what I have from here to here. So after I measured it out, what I have here was 3.5. So I also measured from here to here 3.5 to get this center line. So I also measured from this place, following this line now for my back. I measured was 3.5 from here to here, so that I could rule out this straight line that I ruled from here. So I measured what? 5 inches from here to here. I measured 5 inches. Then on this place I took half inch here, and I connected to my 5 inch. That's how I got my dart for my back. So this 1 inch allowance is for my so my side seams can align well, for them to align well. So you always know for trousers the back pattern is always what's bigger than the front pattern normally. So now I'm through with my front my back pattern now. So I have to draw my allowance for sewing now. Sewing, so I'll be taking 0.5 round, 0.5 inch round to that side, to the hem. So I've taken 0.5 round, just like I did for my front. I'll do the same for the hem of my back trouser. So I'll measure 2 inches, draw a straight line, fold and cut. So this is my back and this is my front. These are my pockets, my pocket facing. For the band, if you watch my video on how to cut a trouser without pattern drafting, you can see how I cut my band on bias. So I'm just using this spare paper now to just show you how to cut. So this is what it means to cut on bias. You're going to fold your fabric like this, like a triangle. Yes. So it is here you will measure your band. So you measure, put your waist measurement. If your waist is 28, you measure 28. So I'm just using this as an example now. So I'll be using, as an example, I'll be using waist 14. Just as an example, please. Using waist 14. This is 14. So my wideness. So I'm cutting my belt on fold. Remember, this place is on fold. So I'm only adding allowance now for my joining to the waist of my trouser. So the band can be as wide as 2 inches or 1.5. So my band is what? 1.5. For allowance I added 1 inch. So that will give me 2 inches. So as you can see, it's on fold. So you just put this sew to your trouser on 0.5 at the waist. So that's all. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you have learned from this video. Please don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Kindly give me a thumbs up to encourage me to make more videos. Yeah, give me a thumbs up.
and subscribe if you are yet to. Thank you so much. I love you guys. Like I love you. Pache pache. Thank you guys so much. So I'll see you guys in our next video. Bye.